What's going on, guys? Twister Don coming at you again for another episode of Dark Souls PvP. This time we're doing another Battle of the Subscriber series. This is episode 5. If you've seen any of my other videos, then you know about. Actually, I had to make a playlist. I renamed some of them, but I thought it'd be a good thing to give my subscribers some justice. That tends to be the main people I'm playing against, the only people that I'm playing against that I actually have fun. That's where I'm kind of bored out on the random invasions and stuff like that, due to the lack of competition, and it's just kind of boring, all in all. But anyways, episode 1 was featuring AJ Ghost's Pyromancer build. Episode 2 was Onin Monkey's Onion Miracumo build. Episode 3 was Zerv's Mars Brigade clone build. And the last episode, episode 4, was KB Dog 67's Moonlight Night, as I call it. But yeah, now this guy here, I don't know how he pronounces his name exactly, but I'm gonna go ahead and say Sovryn, Sovryn. He is using Darkmoon blade, so he went ahead and told me that this was a arena build, and I guess that goes for the reason he's using the buff, actually. So I really gotta stay on my, stay aware of what he's doing with this Balder side sword, being that it's gonna do so much damage if he hits me with it, especially if he combos it. So you see a lot of me throwing fireballs out at a distance and at the ground in anticipation, just trying to keep the distance, control that. Darkmoon blade, as far as my thoughts on it, I don't mind fighting it. I actually really enjoyed this little series of matches me and this guy had, because it was kind of challenging, knowing that he can do so much damage. So, I don't know, I look for a good challenge, and obviously fighting a buff is pretty difficult sometimes, especially if they're really good. If you play like you normally do, you will lose. If you play against the buff like it's just the regular form of the weapon, you will lose. So I am extra cautious when it comes to fighting against the buff, especially Darkmoon blade. That thing is crazy. Especially, I'm wearing the Crown of Dusk, so in this case, the Crown of Dust really lowers my magic defense to pretty much nothing. So that is a big disadvantage of actually wearing the Crown of Dust. You get the 20% boost, I believe, to magic damage, in my case pyromancy damage, but you lose a lot of defense when it comes to fighting against these buffs. And when we're thinking about elemental defense and stuff like that, you got lightning, which would be the only reason I would think to buff up your lightning defense would be, I think Sunlight Blade. But other than that, you don't see a lot of people use lightning weapons anymore due to the nerf from the patch. All those Sunlight Spirits and stuff, they're really not effective if they're easy to dodge. I don't think there's anything really of why you would want your lightning defense to be up, as far as unless you're facing the occasional Sunlight Blade. Your fire defense is going to be good if you're fighting pyromancy, obviously. And the most important, I think, out of all of them, other than the physical defense, is the magic defense, because, and me wearing the Crown of Dusk all the time really doesn't help my case, because you got all the, the crystal magics, and the crystal magic weapon, and you got the Darkmoon blade, you've got the dark magic, so I think Wrath of the Gods would be magic. So in that regard, wearing this Crown of Dust kind of hurts me. And actually, I have another video that I'm doing where I fought another guy who was using the Moonlight Sword, and I went ahead and took the Crown of Dusk off in that match. It wasn't worth having the extra damage from the pyromancies and getting knocked the heck out by that Moonlight Sword. So I went ahead and buffed my magic defense up for that fight, and it worked pretty good. In this video here, you'll see me be overly aggressive with my fireball throwing, and that is because I I want to control the distance. You've got this long area here we're fighting in, and so I kind of just throw him at the ground when he tries to bridge the gap, and I throw him from a distance when we're at far, in hope of kind of, you know, landing that Hail Mary play of hitting him for a good, you know, 700 damage. When it comes to him getting close, if I don't catch him with, you know, the fireball and the combustion combo that I like so much here lately, and either I gotta get out of there or I'm gonna be dead pretty soon. So about mid-fight here, he brings out the Wrath of the Gods and knocks me down there. So controlling distance is key when we're fighting against a buff user. And if you're seriously fighting against a buff user, a lot of the times, I'm not serious when I see a buff and I'm like, ah, whatever. So I just go ahead and play like I normally play and I lose. But like I said before, you can't play like you always play, just because they'll punish you in a more damaging fashion. And this Balder Side Sword is a really good weapon. Everybody, of course, knows about that. It having, you know, a good move set and that long poke. And the thing about it is it has the long poke, but it has it when you're holding it with two hands. So a lot of weapons you can poke one-handed with, but the Balder Side Sword you can poke two-handed with, and that makes it even that much better because the damage is going to be more. Now if you combine the Balder Side Sword with a buff and throw yourself a Leo ring on, and you've got something that is insanely powerful. I remember, you can check out one of my vids called Crystal Balder Sword Leo ring commentary or something like that. I actually so I think I'm doing like 800-900 counter pokes and following it up with another R2 for whatever the basic damage is, was probably 500, 400-500. So you know I'm doing 1400-1500 right there off the bat. So if you throw a buff on that, I'd say, of course, you know, the Leo ring doesn't affect any elemental, I think it's just physical, but still you get the damage from the Darkmoon blade. So I'd say you do, it might be possible to do 1200 with a counter poke. Follow that up again with a 700-800 and doing 2000 damage in 2 hits. And that to me, first of all, you know, I play to win, of course, but I think that particular combination is super powerful, and that's fine if you want to do that. But I gotta play with my pyromancies, and you know, using the crown and the bellowing ring, switching out from the bellowing and all the other rings I do, I can do a pretty good combo. But the thing about it is, it's harder to do that combo because you've got to roll into me, then I got to throw the fireball, then you got to get hit by the fireball, and then I got to follow it up with a great combustion. So mine is kind of more of a punish and not necessarily a primary means of attack, if you know what I'm saying. With that being said, I'm going to stick with the pyromancy just because I love pyromancy. It's fun to me. I've always liked fire, magic, in any kind of game I've played in the past. And it's just something that I enjoy here. I don't have fun using faith, miracles. I don't have... Sorceries are okay. I like the Moonlight Sword. That's about it. I don't really care much for dark magic or any of that kind of junk. This Wrath of the Gods he's using is... Of course, the Wrath of the Gods is very good. I mean, you see everybody do that combination where they hit you with the Wrath of the Gods and run around for a backstab. Of course, you know, I talked about that in my video that I had with KB Dog 67. I was talking about comboing that off with how powerful that is, you know, doing 1200-1300 damage. But if you use the Wrath of the Gods unpredictably, then it's hard to see sometimes, and I'll end up getting hit by it. If you're just out there spamming it, then yeah, I can roll BS it. It's got pretty good crowd control when you're talking about going into to fight gankers and stuff like that. But I mean, like I said, I don't do anything with faith. I've got a faith build that uses Darkmoon blade, but I just don't like it. You know, you got to play with something you like. And I like the Fury Sword and Pyromancy. That's my style. And we're actually fighting in the Duke's Archives here. Shout out to my friend Tomb of Combs, who's also a YouTube uploader. He actually suggested that me and him have some matches out in the forest area here when you go down those particular stairs. And that would work for me, but then when I was coming through, I actually was hollering at me. This guy was hollering at me for some matches, and I said, let's go ahead and have them right here. You don't see a lot of people PvP here. It's a pretty good spot. It's kind of narrow, but nevertheless, you got plenty of room to fight here. That pile of books got on my nerves. And that staircase was aggravating from time to time. But overall, you know, it's just a change in pace. You know, tired of eating at the same place all the time. So let's change it up right here and go to the Duke's Archives. And of course, I got the forest out there that may have some matches. I'm trying to. Mainly, the biggest thing for me is scenery gets old to my eyes. That's why I change up my equipment sometimes from Wanderer's Coat to the what's the other thing? The Chester's Long Coat. Now I'm wearing this robe, and I just like to see different things. But yeah, that's about all of this commentary, and that's something that I hope they improve on in Dark Souls 2. Is, you know, I wish that they make it just a little bit more open. This is open enough for me to, you know, to be good, but if they made it just a little bit more open to where you don't necessarily have to be like Skyrim or nothing, but I wish there were some more PvP areas that naturally now you want to have a PvP area that's close to a bonfire. But anyways, I got another video coming up from a subscriber, so if any of y'all want to play, you just holler at me and I'll feed you in my Battle of the Subscriber series. It's all about the subscribers. Y'all are what gets the views and watches this stuff. So anyhow, I'll let y'all finish this match off, and I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. Thanks for watching, guys.